Imagine a world where, I don't know, ancient myths aren't just stories in old books. What if they were actually like a living part of a really high-tech future? And what if someone showed up claiming they literally lived through all of human history and that they held some kind of forbidden knowledge?
That's pretty much the hook we're diving into today. We are looking at Akshat Gupta's The Hidden Hindu. It's book one in, well, what's planned as a mythological thriller trilogy. Our mission really is to unpack this thing for you. Look at its unique ideas, the thrilling parts.
Yeah, the stuff that really grabs you.
Exactly, but also, where it maybe falls a bit short, according to reviews, readers, critics, the whole picture.
Right, so we're exploring why it's seen as this bold debut by some, why it connects with people, and I guess why others found the execution maybe a little uneven. The goal is, by the end of this deep dive, you'll know if this one's for you. Okay, let's dig into that premise then. The Hidden Hindu. Sounds pretty wild. It starts, you said, in 2041 on Ross Island.
Yeah, throws you right in. 2041, Ross Island. There's this young guy, Prithvi, and he's interrogating someone. Well, very mysterious. Om Shastri.
Om Shastri. And he's not just some regular suspect, right?
Oh, definitely not. He's presented as an alleged Aghori. That's a type of ascetic. And his claims are just huge. He says he's lived through all four yugas.
The vast ages from Hindu cosmology.
The very same. And get this. He says he personally knew figures from the Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Wow. Okay. That's a big claim.
It doesn't stop there. The real kicker, he claims he has Mukfit Sanjivani.
The mythical resurrection thing.
Exactly. The method to bring people back from the dead. What's really fascinating, I think, is the sheer audacity of it. Taking these ancient spiritual concepts and just dropping them into this futuristic, techie setting.
Yeah, imagine being Prithvi, hearing all this. It just hooks your curiosity immediately, doesn't it? So how does the book make that feel? Well, not completely unbelievable. How does it bridge that gap between ancient myth and 2041?
Well, that's where the blend comes in, and it's quite clever. The novel really digs into Hindu lore. It's not just surface level. It talks about the 7 Chiranjeevis immortals, references Vedic texts, Puranic figures.
Okay, so it has some grounding in the actual mythology.
Right. And these aren't just background details. They're tied into this big global conspiracy plot. So the ancient stuff suddenly feels very modern, very high stakes. And the interrogation itself uses narco-analysis plus memory projection tech.
Memory projection, like they can see his memories.
Kind of, yeah. It lets Om's past unfold visually rather than just him telling stories. It's a great show, don't tell approach. It really works.
That sounds really interesting. A visual way to experience these ancient events through his eyes. Does that mix the mythology and the tech also make it exciting? I heard it's a really fast read.
Oh, absolutely. That combination keeps the tension cranked way up. You've got these huge mythological reveals happening alongside these intense, almost corporate-style interrogations. Readers consistently mention the pacing. Fast, loads of twists, hooks you right from the start. Yeah.
Definitely. We saw feedback like a fun, fast-paced read without dull moments. People found it genuinely engrossing, energizing, keeps you turning pages.
Okay, so it's got the thrills, the unique concept. Does it go deeper, though? Does it explore any bigger themes, ask those what-if questions?
It really does try. And I think it succeeds in raising some stimulating points. It definitely makes you think about immortality, like what if it was possible?
Right, the implications.
Exactly. The ethical costs, the psychological weight of living forever. And this other big question, can these ancient myths actually stand up to scientific investigation? Or maybe could science even prove them right?
That's a cool angle.
It is, and it sparks curiosity,
Yeah.
about Sanskrit, Vedic healing, the connections between ancient knowledge and modern science. It really pushes you to think about how we balance deeply held beliefs with new scientific discoveries, especially when a story suggests they might not be so separate after all.
That sounds like a lot to pack in. Really ambitious. But you mentioned uneven execution. Where did critics feel it stumbled a bit? Yeah, that's the flip side. And it leads to some of the main criticisms. One big one was excessive exposition. Info dumps, basically.
Too much telling, not enough showing.
Pretty much. Reviewers felt that long monologues from Om, or these sort of lecture-like passages, really slowed things down. It felt less like weaving mythology into a story and more like, well, scripting it. Almost like a textbook explanation at times.
I can see how that would pull you out of the thriller. Did that impact the characters too? Did they feel real?
That often seemed to be the case. Which leads to the next point. Shallow characterization. Especially the supporting cast, the psychiatrists, hackers, other experts, they often felt a bit archetypal.
Like they were just there to serve a plot function.
Kind of, yeah. Lacking real complexity or growth. And even himself, despite claiming millennia of experience, some readers found him emotionally distant. They wanted more internal struggle, more moral conflict, just more insight into what it means to be him.
It's a fascinating concept, but maybe you don't connect with the person living it quite as much.
That seems to be the feeling for some, yes. They wanted a deeper emotional connection.
Okay. Exposition, characters. Any other issues people pointed out? Like writing style or editing?
Yes, that came up too. Style and editing issues. Some reviews mentioned dialogue feeling choppy or stiff sometimes.
Which can definitely break the immersion.
Absolutely. And transitions between scenes could feel abrupt. A few critics also pointed to just general editing problems, maybe an inconsistent tone here and there, things that can polish off the reading experience.
Right. So pulling all that together, the cool ideas, the fast pace, but also the exposition and character issues. What's the overall verdict? How did it actually land with readers?
Well, it's really interesting because it's quite mixed. If you look at Goodreads or Amazon, the average rating is around 3.9 out of 5. That's from like 4,300 ratings, so a decent sample size. Indian book critics gave it 3.5 out of 5. They liked the concept, but pointed out those execution flaws.
So that 3.5 to 3.9 range suggests people are kind of split.
Exactly. It really reflects the range. You've got 1-star reviews focusing on the writing style issues, the info dumps, and then you have 5-star reviews from people totally swept away by the mythology, the speed, the concept. We saw comments like, sometimes felt disconnected due to the writing style, right next to things like, don't listen to people who call this book crap. I loved the trilogy a lot.
So it really depends on what you prioritize as a reader, doesn't it?
It seems so. Very divisive based on execution versus concept.
That makes sense for a debut novel with such huge ambitions. Sometimes the reach exceeds the grasp, maybe. The core idea is brilliant, but maybe the craft needed a bit more refining to fully pull it off.
That's a great way to phrase it. So our final take. The Hidden Hindu is definitely a bold, original debut, no question. It's cinematic, it's thrilling, it mixes myth and sci-fi in a really thought-provoking way. Its strengths are clearly that audacious premise, the cultural resonance, and that really gripping pace.
The execution.
But the execution, yeah, it feels uneven. The heavy exposition can drag, the secondary characters often feel flat, and those stylistic or editing issues can be distracting for some readers.
Okay, so let's break it down. Who should read this? Who is this deep dive really for?
Right. This is definitely for you if you love mythology and are curious about modern takes on ancient stories. Or if you just want a really fast-paced thriller that actually throws some big philosophical questions at you.
And who might want to skip it? Or at least go in with adjusted expectations?
Probably not the best fit if you're primarily looking for beautiful lyrical prose or really deep, complex character studies. So yeah, that overall 3.5 out of 5 feels about right. It's a promising start, full of energy and great ideas. You just hope that maybe the sequels tighten up the storytelling and flesh out those characters a bit more.
So this deep dive into The Hidden Hindu really shows a book that's just packed with fascinating concepts, big ideas, thrilling moments. Even if, yeah, there are some rough edges in how it all comes together. It's a cool example of ancient meets future, though.
It really is. And it does leave you pondering, doesn't it? That final thought. What if these ancient myths, concepts like Mrit Sanjivani, what if they held actual secrets? Secrets that science could one day unlock? I mean, how fundamentally would that change everything we think we know about life, death, human potential, if resurrection became real?
It's a mind-bending thought. So if that kind of roller coaster ride, ancient legends, high-tech labs, big questions, sounds like your thing, then definitely consider checking out The Hidden Hindu for yourself.